She's
All
here.
right.
Yeah,
Good
yeah,
evening.
she's
Good
here.
evening, everyone. Good
Oh,
evening.
wonderful,
Evening,
wonderful. I was
Rachel.
just chit-chatting with everybody.
All right. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the 13th Sunday Summit. Exciting times we have ahead of us this evening. I think, as you are all who have regulars on this call, we are talking building of local ecosystems. And today I just want to take a little bit of a twist. And I think, Dr. Chong, in what you started, I'm going to be picking at people on the call this evening, especially the ones who are regulars on the call, and just asking questions. I mean, we've had 13 of these, and at our all our sessions, we are literally talking about, most of them anyway, talking about building of local ecosystems. So tonight, I want to hear from you. What are you selling? What products have you made available to your networks, to people in your locality in Lumi? What strategies have you put in place in terms of, are you selling 100% Lumi? Is it 10% Lumi? What strategies and why did you put those in place? Um, and this does not have to be, and if anything you have gone through in these sessions with us, you would notice that we are not saying that, you should have a business and, being really stringent in the stricter sense of a business, but we are saying you have to start selling something, anything, even if it's having a garage sale or to sell some of the items in your house that you're not using and stuff like that. So, I'll be coming. So just be away. I'll be coming doing the rounds on the chat and just checking who's in there and asking these questions to you. So, um, just be ready to come off mute when I call your name, and we can then have a conversation about that. But, just before, I head into that, I'm just going to ask, people on the call, please let us know where you are joining us from this evening, which country, which province. We'll highly appreciate it. Use the chat functionality to put in your comment. And, if you are calling us, joining through a mobile device, the option you are looking for is in call messages. And if you are joining from a desktop type device, at the bottom right of your screen, there should be a chat icon, and you can use that to let us know. So, with that said, just for the benefits of the people who have just joined, welcome everybody, and just highlighting that I'm just going to go around the room, just pick on a couple of people, just find out what product services are you, selling. Have you made anything available in Lumi in your locality? Have you started building these ecosystems that we are talking about? And I'm going to just take like 5 minutes to just go through this, and then I'll hand off over to Dr. Chong to just take us through building of local ecosystems. So, I know there's a couple of people who are regulars on this call. Um,
Demasi yako. Hmm.
um, let's see. Um, Tapiwa, let's start with you. Um, I think Tapiwa, you are joining from Zimbabwe. Tapiwa, please come off mute.
Hello,
Hi, Tapiwa, how are you?
I'm good and you. Here I repair some of my smartphones, like when they are damaged on and putting on screen guards. So most of the services, someone will just go and buy the things that they need to be repaired on their smartphones, and I would charge them uh, on repairing or on installing some softwares that are needed to be installed on smartphones or in the screen cards to put them on my smartphones. So those services that I just that need technicality, and if they buy their goods or if they buy the things that they need to be put on their smartphones, I just charge them with they pay me in Lumi currents. And also some of the things that I would have bought with fiat currents, I usually sell them part fiat 10% when I charge them. If my profit is $2, I would charge dollar for the other profit in Lumi and also the other in fiat currents, so that I can go back and buy some things that I would need for. But mostly on the services that I just installing softwares or putting music in people's phone, I just have the music, so I just charge them. If it's $1, I'll charge the dollar in Lumi currents. That's how I am operating for now
Oh,
in
wow.
here in Zimbabwe.
Oh, wow. That is amazing. That is really, truly amazing. And how is the uptake? Do you have a lot of people that are buying from you in Lumi or acquiring your services in Lumi?
Yeah, people are starting to come, because when I charge fiat and then I say, are you going to be paying in US or you're going to be paying in Lumi? Some will say, what is Lumi? And then I will explain to them, and they will say, okay, if maybe you can try to register me. I will, right now I'm not going to pay with my US dollar. Maybe when the stimulus come, I will come and pay in the Lumi, and I want to see if it really works. But if someone is very would need the service right and there, they will just pay me in the US dollars. And then if they register and the 28th comes, and then they will come back and they will say, let's see if this is real money that you are saying that you are accepting. That's how it's. But the people are starting to engage, and people are starting to come up.
Awesome. Awesome. Thank you so much, Tapiwa, for sharing that. That's very enlightening. I'm going to move on to Nigeria. I have a couple of people from Nigeria here. And because Dr. Chong picked on you, Ruben, I'm going to pick on you as well. Um, Ruben, do you want to just come off mute and let us know what products, what services are you offering, and what your strategy is in terms of Lumi?
Good evening, Lerato. Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Yes, services here have been somehow, we've been trying to put up some markets or services that we paid in Lumi, but the popularity of the currency is yet to be known here. The population, they accept the Lumi, but they hardly look at it as money. So we're coming up with a program, with a campaign that they may accept the Lumi that we'll be using in place of the Naira. Because everyone that is receiving, even those that are receiving the stimulus, think about exchanging swapping the Lumi for the Naira. And that is what everyone is waiting for. So we've been thinking, how can we move from the Naira to the Lumi, or move together, put the Lumi side by side with the Naira, so that the market will move. I tried selling books, and it has not been encouraging, but it's picking up little by little. I provide other services like information services to the people, and most of them, very few, like 5 persons paid in Lumi, but the rest are thinking of how to change the Lumi to the Naira, the local currency, before they pay me for my services.
Hmm.
So we've been waiting, and since everyone is thinking about swapping the Lumi for the Naira, I have not penetrated the market much, and I have not seen any other person penetrating the market with the Lumi yet.
Mm, interesting, interesting. Thank you so much, Ruben, for sharing that. I'm gonna move off and I am going to, I think, Botswana. Um, Botswana, Tau. I think Tau is in Botswana. Tau, Thomas Tau. Uh, can you
Uh,
uh, come off mute
Thank you
and
very
let us
much.
know? Yeah.
Thank you very much, Lorato. Um, I think with me you got it wrong. I'm not a regular. In fact, I'm here for the very first time. Of course, on Friday I attended the one for Lumi for Africans. But I'm quite interested to learn how these ecosystems are being developed. However, personally, I'm a backyard gardener. I'm still producing for my own family, my vegetables. I'm bringing in rabbits as well to keep rabbits and with the aim of feeding my family and then ultimately selling to the public. That's all I can say for now. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Dr. Tau, for sharing. Really interesting initiatives that you have going there. And it will be really interesting to watch that space for developments. I think I have exhausted my time, but before I head off, let me just touch base with Mapallo. Mapallo, if you can just come off mute. Let us know what services, what products you are making available in Lumi in your locality and how is it being received. Mapallo. Mapallo, I think this is Lesotho. Um, I see Mapallo, you are off mute, but I am not seeming to hear you. Okay, it seems like audio is not gonna come from Mapallo there. There you are, Mapallo. Okay.
Can
Okay.
you hear me?
I can hear you now, Mapallo.
Oh, thank you very much. Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Actually, at the moment, I'm still having some products here which I made in Lesotho. So I'm trying to sell them partially Lumi and our currency here in Lesotho. But we are still using the rands also. So this product is called Ranolin. It's made here in Lesotho. It's a very good skin product. So I would like to share this because I like to use it, and most of the people in my country like it because it is within our country and it's made here in Lesotho. So I would like to sell it to everyone uh, in other countries, Zambia, South Africa, everywhere. So I don't know how to to continue contacting people here in the Lumi ground anyway. So I think it will help me to advertise this product.
Awesome,
It's a
awesome.
very good product.
Yeah, I know about lanolin, Mapallo, and I've actually used the product. It's quite a good product. Um,
Mm-hmm.
I think it's a good opportunity if you're putting it on the market also in Lumi or partial Lumi or whatever your strategy will be. Let us continue to engage and see how we can help and assist in you getting it on the marketplace. Okay, I am going to just stop there. Thank you, everybody, for sharing this evening your experiences and how you are currently handling and using the Lumi in your local areas.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
I do appreciate that. So I think I'm not going to take up any more time. I'm just going to hand over to Dr. Chong just to talk us through building of ecosystems, because I think Dr. Chong just laying the ground so you know what's out there and what people are doing.
Yes. Thank you, thank you, thank you so much, Lerato. I have to say Lerato, Lerato, right? Okay. I'm getting the role of the R's, guys. You three or four persons who shared, including the person who's on for the first time. Thank you, thank you, thank you, because your feedback on what is happening in your lives is what we need to morph our system. And I got about 10, 12 different points that I need to speak to just from what you all said. So, first of all, let me address all the different things that came up. One, the Lumi is not to be exchanged for any currency ever. It is to be used parallel to every currency, meaning that our objective is not to move all commerce into Lumi. That is not our objective. Our objective is to have an alternative funding money to use, which we did not pay for, but we were given. And if we have the distribution of Lumi to all persons of African descent, then those who do not have local fiat, whatever your local money is, will have always something to buy food, shelter, clothing, pay for transportation, energy, and general sustenance. The purpose of the Lumi is to make sure that every person of African descent has enough money to pay for their daily sustenance and also to use to build, invest into ecosystems. Now, this cannot happen at the beginning of distribution. We have distribution, which means you get the money in your wallet. Then we have circulation, which means it moves from one wallet to another wallet for whatever reason, whether you are swapping, bartering, buying, selling, or trading as an exchange of goods and services for money. So everybody must have enough money. And so we are distributing to each person the equivalent of 3,000 US dollars, over 3,000 US dollars over time. We started in October and we will end October 2020 and we'll end in October 2023. And whenever you come on, you'll get your equivalent of 100 US a month until October 2023, when it ends. It ends on the beginning of October, so you won't get for October. The last one will be September 2023. So that's one, just the giving it, registering and getting it. Then two, using it back and forth or not. But the issue is this, that without developing ecosystems, meaning systems in which you have what I call a micro economy going, where people are trading in it. You cannot have use of the Lumi until after you have developed this trading system. Now, the first person who came on was really phenomenal because they had all the different aspects of how you can develop an economic system with Lumi. They were already practicing it. One, he was selling some of his services in all Lumi. And two, he was selling some of his services in part Lumi and part fiat, local money. And then he was selling some of his services just in local money. And these are the ecosystems we want to develop. We do not want to develop only Lumi trading. And that is the important thing for us to understand. That means that we have to continue earning fiat, earning Lumi, and earning US dollars. That's our objective of the ecosystems, earning and trading in those three currencies. And the choice of the US dollars is only because it is the most widely used currency around the world, not because of its value, but because it is currently being used most widely. Your local currency. And so we recommend that you start your ecosystems in whatever you have most widely used in your area, which is your local money. We're not asking to start it in Lumi because it cannot be started in Lumi and sustained unless everybody's using Lumi. So we start by developing a product, a service in your local funds and US. Anything that you offer in local funds, we ask you to transition to selling it in US. And if it is that the person doesn't have US to give you, then you quote your thing in US, you take the equivalent in local funds, and then you change it to US. Because very often you need US to go back to get your raw materials. Are you following me so far? I need one person
Yes,
to
we are.
answer. Okay, great. Because a lot of people just say, I can't sell everything in Lumi. That's not our objective. So our objective is to turn every person who has gotten the Lumi or are interested in getting the Lumi into a producer. It doesn't matter what they do, what their age is, what their job is, what their profession is. Everyone must become a producer. Because while you get that stimulus every month for your personal registration in your personal wallet, I am encouraging every person to also register as a business. Once you have a business number, business registration number, and it doesn't have to be a limited liability company, it can be just what we call a trading as, where you just register a trade name so that you get a number, so that you can use that number to register for the second stimulus as a business on the Swifin Lumi platform. That also entitles you to another stimulus every month. And if you are in a distributive place, then you use that same number to register as a merchant if you're distributing to other, if you have a network where you are You have persons selling on your behalf, fine. You register as a merchant. And then you can also register as an agency if you have a network of persons that you have influence over that you would like to register for receiving their Lumi. So those are the 4 registrations that I'm encouraging persons to take up. Each one will get the $100 per month, equivalent in Lumi. Now, number one thing, remember, our objective is not ever, ever, ever to change out our Lumi to any other, but to be able to acquire a business or to run a business that will be trading in 3 currencies: your local currency, US dollars, and Lumi. So those are the ecosystems that we are encouraging. And like the first person who spoke, you must offer your services in all 3 based on the ability of the person to pay. This gives you the opportunity to introduce the Lumi, which is a gift to anybody, so that they can also qualify to pay part of their money in Lumi, which means that they are given a discount because they didn't earn that money that they are using. So understanding that first step is very important. You are developing ecosystems, you are developing, becoming a producer of something, and you're going to sell your stuff in 3 ways: local currency, US dollars, and a combination, and Lumi, or a combination of 3. It can be all of one, part of one, or a combination of the 3. So that is the most important thing to understand about developing our local ecosystems. That's number 1. Number 2, every person who you register, or every person who is registered with the Lumi, needs to immediately register to receive the scholarship program of the State of the African Diaspora, which is a 3-year training program called National and Community Development by Families. This program costs $2,900 US per person. The delivery and re-recording of the program has been paid for by the State of the African Diaspora, and the program is offered to all persons of African descent of any age. And it is hoped that every person who has Lumi will take advantage of this program. The registration fee is 3 Lumi, 1, 2, 3 Lumi, for a course that costs $2,900 US. The course is a university level course that is broken down into 7 practical areas that can be understood and grasped and utilized by any person of any age or any educational background. This program covers your family coming back into great health. That's the first module. Second module teaches every person how to take control of the land that they live on, walk on, or have any access to. so that that land becomes a source of wealth, not just from the production of crops, but the utilization of the land to provide all the resources that you need to live and to thrive and to build family wealth. Once you have learned that second class or module, you will now be in a position to start producing value added products which you can enter into the ecosystem. These value added products, you will be taught how to not just develop them, but to market them, because we have marketing systems and marketplaces which are still being developed to accommodate exchange of these goods that you are now developing in local currency, in US dollars, and in Lumi, and in a combination of these. So again, this addresses the need for marketing, for making persons aware of your systems. One of the things we are very wary of is persons who are anxious to sell their products without getting the base of the health training and the therapeutic farms and gardens, which is the second one, because those two first modules provide a foundation for sustainability. If you do not have those two first classes or modules, you will not be able to sustain the businesses that you are currently, that you had long before you came to this session, or that you are currently starting. Because many persons find that the businesses are not sustainable, and even if the businesses thrive, then there are challenges with their health and other resources that are necessary for maintaining and sustaining a viable, lucrative business. So that's our third module. Now, just for the interest of those who are on the call, I would like you to put in the chat those who are registered for the NatFam, and are active on the NatFam program. So please put in NatFam yes or NatFam no. At one time, we had up to 25 persons on the call, and I know they are coming and going very often because of connectivity problems. But I'd like everybody to put into the chat NatFam yes. That's NatFam yes, or NatFam no. Because I need to know how many persons on this call are currently engaged with the NatFam. The reason is that next week, Monday, so start putting in those answers for me, please. Next week, Monday, which is tomorrow, not next week, today, this week, Monday, tomorrow at 9 a.m., which I think is 1400 hours South Africa time, and you can make the adjustment. We will be starting our module on value-added products. And we are inviting everybody on this call to come on, whether they're registered or not, for anything. to come on so that they can get an idea of what the class is about. It is our 9th of 28 sessions for the next 7 months. And it covers how to start value-added products for every member of your family. If your child is 2 years old, they are to be involved. And we would like you to have a registration once, not immediately, but once they decide what they want to do, for every member of your family of a business. So step 1 is building those ecosystems in all 3 currencies. Step 2 is registering for the NatFam program so that you are trained in how to build wealth and how to build not just immediate wealth, but sustainable wealth that you're going to pass down for your families. Now, step 3 is learning to become a coach. And this is for everybody. Everybody registered for the NatFam needs to learn how to become a coach because they have to go out and register other persons. However, you can't register somebody if you don't have the basics. And so we have coach training on usually on Thursdays, same time, but a link is usually sent out for that. But the coach training will give you all the background to the Lumi and how best to encourage others to do it and what it is for, where you can use it, when you can use it, how you can use it, why we have it, and all that information, because there's so much misinformation out there. And those of you who already have networks, which you did not give this information to, you need to now go back and re-educate your network so that they can also come into this program of building family wealth. So I think I've addressed the whole thing of the ecosystem. You can't just jump into an ecosystem. You have to build, become a producer, start it in your local currency or whatever currency is most widely available. And then you build it up just as your customers have a need. Whatever they have Lumi, you sell them in Lumi. And as I said, I offer all my products, services on the Lumi platform in Lumi. I also offer all my products and services in part Lumi and part fiat on another platform. And then the third platform is that I offer all my products just in US dollars. So that if you maintain those 3, then you are able to always have a good supply of all 3 currencies, which is what we want to always maintain. So never get into the idea that, you have to have everything sold in Lumi. But we are training you how to become a millionaire, straight and plain, in all the currencies that you currently utilize in your nation. This is not the end. This is just the start. And there are other objectives that you will learn as we go along. So I'll just stop now, and I'm going to ask Le Rato to look at the chat and see how many people are registered for the NatFam so that we can link the ecosystems with the NatFam training, because that is what the NatFam training is about. I have some other information about the systems that we have started working on over the weekend, just a few days ago, that will help with our ecosystems. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Chong. I'm just trying to do maths and talk at the same time. So it looks like of the 26 people on the call, we have 14 responses thus far, with four not registered for NetFem and 10 registered. So please keep your responses coming on that question. And as Dr. Chong mentioned, the NetFem program is a program that is sponsored by the state of the African diaspora, and making it quite available at quite a reasonable price, considering the value of the information that is acquired through the program. While everybody else is typing and letting us know how you whether you're registered or not with the NetFem. I'm just going to also ask that at this point, let's open the floor for any questions that you might have on anything that Dr. Chong has already talked about. Ame, I note your question on the help there. Um, if you can just bring in your questions and comments. If you would like to come off mute and
Yes.
make a uh,
Uh,
sorry.
hmm?
If you'd like to come off mute and make a comment, please just indicate in the chat as well, letting us know that you'd like to come off mute, and I will acknowledge you and will give you airtime at that point. So, just for the sake of the recording and some housekeeping, please stay off mute and keep your background noise to a minimum if you are coming off mute, so that we can just manage the recording. Okay, um, I am seeing uh, two more responses with a yes. So that brings the tally of a yes to a 12. Uh, I have not seen any more no's. So yes. Okay, keep those responses coming, whether you are registered for the NetFem program or not. And as Dr. Chong said, this is an empowerment program that is meant to, one, help us build healthy and strong families. Also, over and above, enable us to grow and transition from being consumers to being producers. And I think in past two the past two modules have covered natural family health. So in that module, we covered aspects on how to restore any ailments and disease reversal, and bringing families into health. And the next module that we covered in the month of September was around therapeutic gardens. So this is about utilizing the land and the resources that you have in your space to actually start planting and reforesting our communities and the land that we actually have. So yes, so quite interesting. The next module that we are heading into around value added products and services. Excuse me. So yes, please make sure that you do not miss out. This is quite an interesting and very developmental course. So yeah, I'm going to be heading into the chat just to take your questions. Okay. Okay. So, Ame, I see your question around. I tried to get my NetFem course modules back, all to no avail. Please help out. Ame, if you can just perhaps come off mute just for a second and just explain what your actual problem is there. Ame?
Is he on? I mean, is he
Yeah,
off mute?
he still is okay. He just came off mute. Yes, Ame?
Okay.
Okay, what I was trying to explain was is that I enrolled for the program. The course was uploaded to my email. I started it up to the 4, and then after that, the course just disappeared from my mail. I tried to follow the instruction to send the mail to the appropriate quarters, and with an attached file or what usually appears on my as the response, but up till now I've not got even a feedback mail reply from that same platform. So I don't know how to get the course restored so that I can, peruse through it, and then continue with the program. That's my ordeal. Thank you.
All right.
Okay, Ahmed. Thank you very much for that. Did you watch any of it at all?
Hello, ma. Repeat your question, please.
Did you watch any of the program? Did you watch any of the modules?
Yes, I did. I watched the 1 to 4, 4 session 1, and then of course session 1, 2, and 3. But the session 2 is not showing that I have watched it, and then I was on day 5 before the thing disappeared completely. The man. Thank you.
So you are not able to open it, or it has disappeared from your email? Because, yeah, answer that. Is it that you can't find it back on your email, or it has disappeared,
Yes,
or it
I
won't
can't find it
open? You
on my
can't find
email.
it back.
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
Send me, just inbox me your name, email, and probably, I think that's enough. Just your name and your email, and
Okay, thank you.
I will look back in. I will get the website host to look back and resend you, because he has a way of just resending to people without their paying again, right?
Okay,
That is
all right.
what they
Thank you then.
usually do. But did you try emailing a letter to the Cartneys and calling their help
Yes,
desk? There are two options.
yes. I try both options.
Okay. Well, you know what is happening? Everybody's overwhelmed. Everybody's overwhelmed. And I don't know if you guys know that the Swifting platform is down for probably a good while. It will be down for maybe 48 hours, where they're doing major upgrading. So we are in process. And this is why we need to sort of just not be too anxious about using or spending the Lumi, but be more anxious about developing the ecosystems, so that when all our developmental problems are over, we will be ready we already have our ecosystems in place. Right. So is there any other question you'd like to address, Loretta, before I tell them about the new plans?
Just for a second. I'm just going to take, because I see this question has come in multiple times on how to access the course material. So if you go to the URL, courses.cutmazing.com, if you are there, you can go onto the profile link, and under the profile link, there is My Courses. So if you expand on that My Courses link, you should be able to see the course that you are registered for there, and you can click into it and be able to access your course material. So while the back office is attending to resending and re-emailing, and we understand there's a lot of people that are having issues, if you try that, you should be able to access your course material. Okay, I was just doing that for the benefit of Esther and Ame, because I see that's a question that came in a couple of times. And thank you, Bandile, for responding to that as well. And the next question is from Agida in Nigeria. We have registered quite a good numbers for Lumi right now. We are working on building local ecosystem. How do we link them to available opportunities for them to start trading with Lumi dollars and local currency? Dr. Chong, do you want to take that?
All right, they say they have registered a lot of Lumi persons. Are
Yeah.
they registered for the NatFam? That is a question, because it is only through the NatFam that you're going to learn how to register, how to access, to build the ecosystems. That's the training that we're doing. So you have to be registered for NatFam. And if you haven't registered yet, you can come on Monday until you register. But all the other material is on the NatFam training program. So that is specific for that question. And the person who asked, do you have a follow-up question?
Agida, do you want to come off mute?
Good evening, all.
Thank you. Good evening.
Good evening. I so much appreciate you. I so much appreciate Loretto and Dr. Chong for your wonderful presentation. In Nigeria, we have registered some good number of people, and right now the list we're asked to compile, we are really working on that. And the challenge we are going to have with this, some of these people, we register people in the rural area, and some of them don't even have access to internet. So I don't really know how it's going to be, but I'm thinking that you people are going to put us through concerning how we can now build the local ecosystem, and how they will also start with the training, the NAFAN training.
Yes. No, the thing is this, that if
Yes.
you register them
Yes.
from your computer
Yes.
for Lumi, you can also register them from your computer for the NatFam. You understand? However you register them for the Lumi is the same way you're going to register them for the NatFam. Once they are registered for the NatFam, then we have several other methods of delivery of the material outside of internet, right? Because we are, if they registered for the Lumi, they must have an email, right? Because you can't register for the Lumi without an email. Now, the material, we are working on the material in print form, okay? Where the person who registered them is responsible for, what should I say, guiding them through all the processes. You can't register somebody and just leave them on their own. So if they have no internet, then you are responsible for getting the downloads and transmitting it to them in physical meetings and in whatever methodologies you have. Once you have registered people under you, you are responsible for all of them. Why? Because you are getting a commission paid. Every time they get money, you are being paid a commission, and you are building up a stock of funds. And that is what your stock of funds is about, providing service to the people that you have registered. So, as I said, we have most of the stuff in print. We can send you the stuff in print. You can download it off of your and print it and give it to them in print, so that it doesn't matter. Once they are registered, they can get stuff sent to their email. You can print it from their email and then deliver it to them in actual paper form. Or we also have the stuff in audio. I don't know if there's any facility that you can access where they can listen to it. So all of those are options. But whichever option you use, I know some people are doing the print, some people are doing the audio, some people are just passing on the information if they have Wi-Fi, and some people are meeting physically and actually having workshops. When we do the workshops online, then they do the workshops physically, where they meet with their groups once a week and actually do the stuff. So that's the responsibility of a coach. That's the responsibility of the person who has registered a group. We understand and are working assiduously on the fact that access to data is probably one of the major challenges that are being faced in communicating what is going on and in getting people together. And it's the same problem we're having with marketing. And so those other channels have to be activated and used. And I know that MOA has several of these channels and programs up and running. And he is also putting them together so that they can be replicated in the different areas across Africa. Because we don't have that problem in Jamaica. We can get Wi-Fi 24/7, public, private, and just bought for 3 hours or 10 hours or what have you. Secondly, we can physically get to any point. There's nowhere that takes more than 5 hours max. I can drive from one end of the island to the other end, our longest point, in 5 hours. Right? So I can cover anywhere, go and meet anywhere or what have you. So it's a totally different situation when you're dealing with, hundreds and hundreds of miles and lack of Wi-Fi. So we move around them. And if you guys have any additional suggestions that you have successfully used in communicating within your area, we would love to hear from you. And once you can tell us what it is, we will facilitate it. Okay, so that the whole communication thing is pivotal. Okay, so I'm just going to go on now to 2 other things that I would like to share with everybody. One is that we now have a team working out of India that will be developing in the next 2 weeks our 3 marketplaces, because we have been strapped for personnel. We now have a team working with Mr. Theo Chambers, who is our web developer, and they hope to have by the end of 2 weeks our Lumi marketplaces, our Lumi courses, and our Lumi financial services. These 3 platforms, which are owned by the State of the African Diaspora, you will have access to all of them to sell your product in Lumi. That platform only takes Lumi. So you can register your stuff on those platforms if you are taking full Lumi. That's number 1. Number 2, we have been engaging the ECO6 Secretariat to also put up 3 platforms. But these platforms will be able to sell in part Lumi and part US, right? So if you onto that platform, then you'll be earning part Lumi, part US for your products. And again, that platform will be up and running before the end of October, so that you can list your products. And what we're doing is developing a model for Jamaica where we can troubleshoot it. Anybody can come on it, right? From anywhere in the world. But we'll be recommending that one be done in every nation. So you have a national, what should I say, arm or agency for this particular national thing, so that we want to encourage national development before we encourage international ecosystems. We want to encourage the building of nation by nation. You want to build your nation and make it strong before you start trading with other nations. Remember, anything you buy that is made in your nation makes your nation richer and stronger. Anything you buy made in another nation makes the other nation richer and stronger, while making your nation weaker and poorer. It's twofold. While I recognize the importance of inter-African trade, it is not my intention for the Ministry of Family and Social Economy to encourage international trade. I'm going to say that again, and I'll tell you why. That's not my portfolio. That is the portfolio of those who, the Minister of Trade and the Ministry of those who are doing commodity trading. My responsibility as Minister of Family and Social Economy is to build the family's wealth first, then build strong communities, then build strong nations. When I'm finished with that, I'm going to start again building families. I'm not here to build international trade, because that has got to be built on a firm foundation of family wealth, community wealth, and national wealth. That's not my portfolio. I have no objection to it, but it is not my portfolio. When we have strong national ecosystems and smaller ecosystems, then the people are passed on to another ministry, the Ministry of Mining, the Ministry of Trade, the Ministry of everything else, the USOAD, the educational system, and all of those other systems that we now will have strong nations trading with strong nations. But if you have a weak nation trading with a strong nation, then the strong nation will overpower the weak nation. And this is what is happening from the colonials. And we are going to replicate the same thing if we do not build strong foundations. So the focus has got to be I know everybody wants to sell their things overseas, but remember what I just said. If you sell your stuff overseas, you are empowering that nation and at the same time making your nation poorer. The only time you have a win-win situation is when both nations are equally strong and they just exchange their goods with each other. It does not make any of them poorer. It makes both of them richer. But that must always be done after you have satisfied the local needs of the people who live in that nation. Now, I would like to engage in answering questions around that because it is probably the most pivotal concept to understand and to engage in. So I take a break now. Lerato.
Awesome. Thank you, Dr. Chong. And I think keep your questions coming, everybody. I think some of the questions I've already responded to in chat, and just giving you, Dr. Chong, a minute to catch your breath before I pass on these next two questions, which I think will be great if you can speak to. I'll just go through some of the questions that I've already answered in the chat, and while you catch a breath, then we'll come back to you, Dr. Chong. The question from Perpetua around with the Swiffin platform going a major overhaul, should we consider continue to register people? So Perpetua, because the system is currently down, you will not be able to really register people. So we recommend that you wait until the system is back up, and then you can do registrations when the system is back up. And I see the question on, okay, then there is a question on if the Lumi should not be used now, then why the business loan, which I'm going to ask you, Dr. Chong, just to speak to. And in conjunction with that question, there is a question from T. Semolefe around if, for instance, one is selling secondhand clothing locally, will it be necessary to advertise on the marketplace, or can we trade directly and Swiftfin facilitate the payment? And I think those two questions I would like to pass on to you, Dr. Chong, if you've just caught your breath.
Yes, I have.
All right.
Okay, let me answer the last one first about why can we. That is what Swiffin. The question was about: can we just transact it on Swiffin and just exchange locally?
Yep.
Now, sure, that is fine, but guess what? How do you get the word out to all the people who go on, who have access to Swiffin, that you have secondhand clothes to sell? Remember that Swiffin is not just for international trade, you know. Swiffin is for your neighbor next door to just go on their Swiffin thing and put in secondhand clothes, and they will see who is selling secondhand clothes right next door. So it is an advertising tool. So listing what you have to sell on Swiffin has an advantage of just informing everybody who has access to Swiffin platform what you have for sale. Right. Now, the other way of doing it is sending down a WhatsApp message. But guess what? There's no WhatsApp group that has more than 250 people. Right? And so you are only advertising to 250 people. You put it on the Swiffin platform. Everybody who has Lumi has access to Swiffin platform. They just go on it and they just put in an item that they're interested in. And it pops up all the people who have that registered on the Swiffin platform. So that's the advantage there. The other thing is that the question was asked about why the loan. Okay. When the Lumi came out, all the services that the Lumi offered was being advertised. First, the fact that the Lumi is giving, the student platform is facilitating the gift of 100 US equivalent each month to every person of African descent who registered. 1. 2, for those who have small businesses, every business owner has access to 10,000 US, right? 3, those who have big business, they can ask the Lumi producers, the persons SOAD can partner with them to the tune of however much they need for projects. That particular area is covered in the business interest form, which is available to anybody who wants it, but it is for big projects. As we had on one of our Sunday summits, and you can go online, Lumi for Africans, and see a list of all our previous summits, and just look for the one with Tammy Massey. And that showed where she got $9 billion from the African bank that supplies Lumi to start her project, not to start, to continue her project, because her project was one of making certain motor vehicles, solar-powered motor vehicles, and also getting all the materials from factories around Africa for the seats, for the fuel, for the every part of the car. And that is well on its way. The prototype has already been made, and she is doing it with Lumi. That is one of the ways that you can utilize any kind of loans or grants by getting persons to trade in the same way that I was telling you about, all in fiat, part fiat, and full Lumi. That gives you always the option of having all three currencies coming in, and you only use the Lumi part to finance the Lumi part of your business. Now, the most important thing to understand is that unless you build local ecosystems that involve the use of Lumi, you cannot use your $10,000. And this is why the NatFam program was engineered and accessed by the State of the African Diaspora to teach people how to build ecosystems in fiat, US, and Lumi, because that's the only place you can use your Lumi. So if you do not build a distributorship that is taking part Lumi, then you can't use your $10,000 to buy your raw material, to expand your business, or to buy your equipment. There's equipment and all sorts of technical stuff available in part Lumi. Just go on Swiffin platform, click on, put in the name of what you want, what kind of equipment and whatever you need to use your $10,000 for, and the people who now have it will come up. When they pop up, you contact them, and they will tell you, okay, I'll take X% Lumi and X% fiat. But one of the things that we are trying to teach persons of African descent is that you cannot use all loans to finance or refinance your business. It is poor, bad, Western control. That is why they give you so many loans. That's why the bank gives you loans, and that's why the colonials are always giving you aid to do everything, because Whoever gives you aid controls you, and you never get out of that control. And so we are teaching people never to use 100% loans to do anything, or gifts for that matter. You must have your own source of productivity. And that is what the NatFam is here to teach you. So that if there is no Lumi, you can still have a productive business in fiat. That's what we're teaching you. So that when you get your Lumi, you are able to transition over there, but you are not strapped for fiat. What we are teaching you is to develop a lucrative business where you are getting in fiat, US, and Lumi. But until you are able to trade in your Lumi, you must be getting in loads of money in fiat and US. The essence of proper business practice cannot be dependent on loans or grants. It has to be dependent on your productive capacity. That's what we're trying to teach in the NatFam program. So basically, unless you have another program that is teaching you these entrepreneurial business principles, then you all need to be registered for the NatFam, because it is the reason, the only reason why persons are constantly dependent on inputs from other persons or other sources, because they have not developed their productive capacity. Thank you.
Awesome. Awesome. Thank you so much for that, Dr. Chong. And I think that addresses the question that Abby put in there last on how can you repay the loan. And the reality is there is work to be done. You cannot just start taking out loans and financing your business when you don't have a strategy. So there is a lot of homework and groundwork that needs to go in place before you can actually consider taking out the loan. And when we do consider taking out the loan, you must really have a strategy on how you, what you're going to do with it. Do you have the ecosystems in place where you are going to use this particular money in, and how are you going to be generating a profit from the use of this particular loan? So there's a lot of things that go into that. And as Dr. Chong mentioned, NetFem training is the start and the basis for um, all the training that you need before you even consider taking out the loan. So, on that note, I think I'm going to head into the announcements, and then we will do closing remarks in the absence of any other questions. I am not seeing anything else in the chat, so I'll head into um, announcements.
Excuse me. One, did you get the link for our Monday class? If you have it, could you post it? The link for our Monday class.
Yes,
for those, right.
I have it.
And once you have that link, you go back into that same group and find the recording if you are not able to be there for the class. Thank you.
Okay. Let me see if I can get somebody to give me the link while I, since my WhatsApp won't open here. Just hold on a second. Let me do this and then I'll put the link at the end. Okay. So the NetFem practical online training happens tomorrow, the 4th of October at 1600 South Africa Standard Time. Please convert to your local time zones. So that's 8 p.m. Nairobi, 3 p.m. Lagos, 2 p.m. Accra, 9 a.m. Kingston. So convert to your local time zone. I will place the link. Oh, thank you so much, Bandile. uh, Bandile has just put in the link onto the chat, and Ruben has just put in the link onto the chat on the NetFem training that is happening tomorrow. All right. Thank you so much, guys. Then our next meeting, we have the Thursday meeting where we are looking at training coaches. That's on the 7th of October, and the open mic session on Saturday, the 9th of October, where we are taking questions, comments, sharing experiences. And these sessions are all happening at 1900 South Africa Standard Time. Please convert to your local time zones. And on Fridays, which is every Friday, we have a Lumi presentation room that is happening on WhatsApp. So we are going through the introduction to the Lumi digital currency and also empowering you with the information that you would need to train other people in your locality, in your networks. This is happening Friday, the 8th of October 2021 at 1900 South Africa Standard Time. Please convert to your local currency. You need to be in the WhatsApp room at 1900 when the presentation starts. Um, a link of this session is also provided every week in the Lumi for Africans and Lumi for Africans 2 WhatsApp groups and any other WhatsApp groups. So look out for that link. And the next Sunday Summit, which will be the 14th Sunday Summit, will be happening next Sunday on the 10th of October. And that is it on the way of announcements. Please take note of the NetFem online practical workshop that is happening tomorrow at 1600 South Africa Standard Time. The link for that is in the chat. All right. And that is it in the way of announcements. Uh, and I want to just take the opportunity and say thank you to everybody who stayed with us thus long. You can reach out to us on the Lumi for Africans with a K at gmail.com email address, or you please like and subscribe to our Lumi for Africans YouTube channel. We are posting recordings to all our meetings and anything that you any training material that we make, we post it on that Lumi for Africans WhatsApp YouTube channel. So please like and subscribe. Thank you so much and good evening to everyone. Thank you so much, Dr. Chong. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining. Good evening.